Here I am, in the place to be. Mr. K and B, you can't fuck with me. Extra sexy, extraordinary. Palms are hairy, your mama pop.
What up, y'all? KMB, the Sexy Ninja, in the place to be, as always, for Cplus Studios. Welcome to the Sexy NINJACAST. I hope you've been enjoying them as they've been dropping every Sunday. But before we just jump right on in, let's take care of some business. This episode is brought to you by Crazy Hoodiez with a Z. All created and designed by Big Daddy. Much love, much respect. He always has my back, and I love to have his, especially with his venture with the hoodies and the designs and stuff. So Crazy Hoodiez with a Z. All right, y'all. Welcome to the Sexy NINJACAST. And if you are new to the Sexy NINJACAST, the show is broken down in 3 parts. We have a part where the stuff I've learned from my week, or my week in general, talking about my week. And hopefully it motivates you. Then we have the news, and today, in the third, is usually a review or the main topic of the show, but today we have the first official guest of the Sexy NINJACAST, and his name is the Ramrock. But I will say, I don't know what happened. I don't know what was said, or I said. The interview it's a great interview, but it just turned south quick. I don't know what happened. I've reached out to the Ramrocks people, and I have gotten nothing, a non-response, and I just don't know. I maybe you can tell me what I did. It just goes south real fast, real quick. And if the Ramrock is out there listening, I appreciate you being on the show, and I didn't mean to say any ill will towards you. But you'll see when you watch the interview later on in the show. But besides that, my week has been hell. I was sick. I didn't have corona, no COVID, no variants, no Transformer variant, Omicron or whatever it's called. I just got really, really sick. And, man, sore throat, nose congestion. I think I had a sinus infection because my face started to pound and hurt. And, I hate being sick. I just don't like being sick at all. And you could probably still hear a little bit of stuffiness, but I feel like I'm over that hill. And the funny thing is, like, I did all the remedies you could do. A little bit of the vape under the nose, what's it called? You know what I'm talking about. And then on the chest, and then eating hot foods, some spiciness, like putting some sriracha in my soup just to get sweat it out. Lots of blankets on me to sweat it out. Every remedy you could think of. I would say one remedy that blew my mind was when I had the sign, like right here, like it felt like my eyeball was gonna fall out. Like I was like, oh my God, this hurts so bad. And the homie Colin was like, yo, here's a remedy for this. He goes, some apple cider vinegar and some water, steam it up, and put a towel over your head and just breathe it in. And I'm doing that, and oh man, I don't know what, but that pressure, all that was right here, just slowly was just going away. And I'm just like, you witch doctor, you. It helped big time. And being down like this, I did find some interesting things about myself. So I went to work, left work, called out the next day, laid in bed, tried to sleep, tossed and turned. It's really hard to sleep during the day. But I watched The Man of Steel, and it's been a hot freaking minute since I've seen The Man of Steel. And we've also done a movie commentary for Popflix for The Man of Steel. And it's in our archives in the Popflix on the YouTube channel. And I think it's just because either I was really delusional off the NyQuil, or I'm just learning so much about writing movies and how stories are developed and how a story is structured, and from the director's eye, the point of view, the perspective of the director. But Man of Steel is awesome. I just, like, all the emotions were there. Even the things I made fun of in initial reviews or made a joke about, it was just something where I was just laying there. I was like, damn, I don't know why I haven't seen this multiple times. I could do BVS. I watch BVS quite a bit, honestly, and seeing this and like, you know, I was thinking about like a storyteller, and the script I believe was written by David S. Goyer and Christopher Nolan. But man, it hits all those notes, and the journey of Clark becoming Superman, and then making a devastating choice by snapping General Zod's neck, and it's still like they made Superman human. Brought him to that human level. He's not the Boy Scout. He's not this. You know, he's brought to this human level. And after sitting there and watching the movie again, and like I said, I was just taken back looking at the story, and something popped in my head. Because I remember when BVS came out. For those that don't know, BVS, Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. When BVS came out, they re-showed Batman's origin. And I remember me and Doug, we saw the movie, we were like, why would you show it? Everyone knows the origin. And then after watching Man of Steel, I was like, everyone knows Superman's origin. But after watching Man of Steel, I'm like, they had to show his origin again. And for Snyder's vision and Snyder's like style, he had to make the story his. So what do? He tells the origin story, but from his eyeballs, from his vision of what the movie's going to be. And so that's why we had to see Batman's origin again. And it was just one of those things, like if someone came up to me and was like, here, and if I had to take on a mini project, I would take on the Green Lantern. Because one, they tried once, and fun story is I was in much denial about that movie. And when that movie came out, because Green Lantern's my guy, and when that movie came out, I remember all giddy, and I was there in my Green Lantern shirt, I was there with my hat, Green Lantern hat, everything, and I was ready to see this movie. I was like, Ryan Reynolds is Hal Jordan? Hell yeah! Went to the movie. Movie ended. Sitting there. Saw Sinestro in the mid-credits. It was like, that was good, right? That was awesome, you know? And anything negative someone had to say about that movie, I was like, nah, man, that movie's great. But fast forward and understanding stories and movies and whatever, you know. I saw the movie, then finally realized, like, yeah, it's fun. It's not like the worst thing in the world, but it's just, yeah. Green Lantern deserved better than that. Then they also did a show, which was very great, but they canceled that. My boy can't get no love. But if I had to be handed the project, it would be Green Lantern. And I would show that story. And I wouldn't start from the beginning. I wouldn't start with Hal. Hal will be part of the story. But I would start where Hal loses it, goes bat crap crazy, and becomes Parallax. And he's destroying the Green Lantern Corps. And we give the birth of Kyle Rayner. We give Kyle a chance to shine here. Kyle Rayner is my favorite Lantern, and I have Kyle's ring. Showing that story, because that story is awesome. Like, I feel like that could be adapted really well. I know they're doing a Green Lantern show for HBO Max, but I think going with Kyle's story and, like, his girlfriend getting folded and shoved in the fridge, and he's like, and then the tragicness of the end of Kyle's run, where Kyle leaves Earth, and he's fighting in space, and then he comes back, and he goes to the Justice League. He's like, hey, guys, I'm back. They're like, well, we already have a Green Lantern, so sorry. He's like, fine. Goes sees his girlfriend, and she's with another dude. And he's like, oh, okay. And he did all these rejections. And then he's like, you know what, screw you. And he leaves. He leaves Earth. He's like, oh, I'm going. I'm out. I'm outie. What was I even talking about? Oh, story. But, sorry, tangent. I just go off like that. The story of Man of Steel, and how I think, this is what I think with the Man of Steel. I think that movie was gearing towards Christian Bale's world. you know. And that's the way the story felt to me. I felt like that movie was bringing Superman in and changing the game, also destroying Metropolis and destroying Smallville. Like the fight in Smallville, I was like, that city is not coming back. Or that town is not coming back. They get out. And the military is just like, shoot! But I feel like that was how they were going to gear it up, because I remember originally they wanted Nolan to direct a Superman movie. And Man of Steel, he co-wrote and he produced and gave the helm to Zack to do. So Zack did his thing, the visuals and stuff like that, Zack's vision of what the story is. And I feel like that was the direction they wanted to go. They wanted to bring Superman to the front table and be like, okay, here's Man of Steel. But Bale was out. Bale said, no more Batman. You know, we got the trilogy. And so they're like, okay, what do we do? So in BVS, they're like, okay, well, what if Batman's been around for like 25 years beating up criminals? Yeah, we got an older Batman. Well, you know, since we already have this dark aspect to the characters, let's go with the Frank Miller Batman. You know, he's brooding and he's on the edge, and, you know, but Bruce still learns a lesson and all that. And I don't know, just watching Man of Steel again, it just gave me that hope. What the S stands for. Remember, the S stands for hope. I don't know. I would say if you have not seen Man of Steel, or if you hate Man of Steel, when the movie first came out, I remember being in awe. I remember going to the theater and being like, whoa, that was not what I expected. And the little tribute they do to Christopher Reeves, it was, you know, and after seeing the movie again, I'm just like, man, I really need to tell my stories. The stories that are in here that I've been writing too, like crazy. And it was a motivational thing. Even though I was sick, dying. Well, not dying. I was laying there like, oh my God, yeah, take me now, Lord, take me now. I got motivated by laying in bed and watching this movie. And now my creative juices are going because I'm writing. I'm writing like crazy. I'm writing all types of stories right now. You know, well, not writing all types of stories, but I'm going to all these stories that I already have in place. And I'm going to pick one of these stories and just run with it. And make it a book, make it a script, something. I'm going to take one of these stories and I'm going to run with it and make my contribution to the world. You know, I've read enough stuff that that's been contributed to me by artists and writers and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do, ooh, it's sweaty. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create and I'm going to give that story to the world. If the world will take it, unless they read it and they're like, what is this crap? Get it out of here. But maybe you need that too. Maybe you need to watch something, read something, do something that's out of the norm. And for me, like, being sick is very out of the norm. Sorry. Gross. I know. I'm sorry. But yes, that's what happened. I watched The Man of Steel and I got a new sense of hope, a new sense of, like jolt to get my creative juices going and start writing a story that I feel that I need to tell. And I can't wait to tell that story. So, yeah, that's what I learned this week. Sick as a dog. About to die. Here I come, Lord. So, go get your creative juices. Sorry. Sorry. Maybe I should ease it, not dive it. Okay, so that was it. That was all for my week. We're going to go to the news. And you're going to enjoy the Ramrock interview afterwards. And you shall see. Now, the news. Welcome to the news. You're probably asking, where's your blazer? Where's your shirt? I was robbed on my way to the studio to do the news. But nothing will stop the news. Nothing. First off,
Netflix is removing Marvel shows. People in the UK are getting little pop-ups saying the Marvel shows are going bye-bye. Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, who cares? Defenders, who cares? Punisher, Luke Cage. All these shows are going bye-bye. What does that mean? We don't know, but the story will develop and maybe they'll find a new home on Disney Plus. Next in the news, DC has dropped huge teaser before Super Bowl. By the way, happy Super Bowl day. Showing the Hawkman, Atom Smasher, and Dr. Fate. Ah, yes. We're living in the golden age of superhero movies. Also, Marvel dropped with the Empire magazine the first look at Mr. Knight. Who? Mr. Moon Knight. Moon Knight. I cried. As a boy, I read these comics. Now see him on the big screen and little screen, an accurate comic book. Uniforms. It makes me happy. It makes me so happy. The news is quick and short because I need to go find the fools who stole my blazer. I am out because it's cold.
All right, y'all. I hope you are enjoying the Sexy Ninja Cast so far. We have a special guest in the house. Would you introduce yourself, good sir?
My name is the Ramrock. I've been a professional wrestler for 12 years now. Gosh, that sounds old.
Not in this business.
Yeah, no kidding, right? No
Ric Flair's still out there. He wants to get back in that ring.
Oh, please no, Rick. I love Ric Flair, but please no. Please no.
Did you hear about his current divorce from wife number 5?
Wife number 5. Yes, sir. I did hear about that. I mean, why does he keep getting married? Like, he should just, I don't get it. It hasn't worked out. Like, if it didn't work out the third try, like, he should just date. He shouldn't marry. Whatever, to each their own, man. So
exactly. All right. So I got to ask you, how did your journey begin?
Oh man, so my journey as a professional wrestler, or my journey since inception?
The journey of being a professional wrestler.
Okay, so obviously, we'll talk about the taboo a little bit. You know, I've been obsessed with wrestling forever, and I started doing backyard wrestling, which, you know, a lot of guys do, but won't admit to it. And in the year of 2010, I decided it was time to learn this business and learn it for real. And so my wife, God bless her heart, we packed up our bags and moved from Pine Top, Arizona, and moved to California, where I enrolled in the Fit Pit Pro Wrestling School. That was run by GQ Money. His real name is Ryan Katz. Brawlin' Bo Cooper. He is a 20 plus year veteran on the indies. Ryan Katz actually just recently got released from WWE. He worked there for about 10 years. And then I was also trained by Jesus Rodriguez, which you will know him by Ricardo Rodriguez in the WWE. He was also, his indie gimmick is Chimera. So, yeah, in 2010, we moved out to California, started school. If anybody knows anything about pro wrestling school, it is as brutal as they say. I learned a lot, definitely humbled me up. But yeah, I was in school for about 6 months, and then started taking bookings outside of school. And about a year in California, we decided it was just way too expensive to live there. I mean, holy crap. I mean, and that was back in 2010.
Can't imagine now.
No way. No way. And so we ended up moving back to Phoenix, and yeah, that's how I got my start.
When you talked about Ryan Katz, I was going to mention, yeah, currently released from the WWE. They're doing a lot of works over there, you know, especially Shane McMahon being let go.
No. Wow.
Yeah, with the business the way it is now and how it's very divisive. Like it's either you like WWE or you hate WWE or you love AEW and you hate AEW. You know, there's no like middle ground anymore. It's like you hate it or love it, and that's it. I remember a time and age with the indies being so huge and big, and me just being drawn to the indies, and like, oh man! And now everybody's a wrestling fan. It's just like being a comic book nerd. Everybody is that, capital of like, oh yeah, well I rock with AEW, I rock with WWE, and with what do you feel the business should turn to, or which way it should go without being so divisive?
Honestly, it's such a hard question to ask, right? I was watching Impact Wrestling last night, and there was a fan in the audience that just said, like, they had a sign and they literally just said something along the lines of like, just enjoy wrestling. Like, why do we have to hate the WWE, or why do we have to hate AEW? Why can't we just enjoy wrestling for what it is? I mean, people get so mad when like certain people go over or they're pushing a certain gimmick or whatever. It's like, you know what? Like I wish that promoters and the big guys would stop catering to, especially like the internet people, for sure, all the keyboard warriors out there, and just put their show out there, and just people just enjoy wrestling. Like, stop hating all like what everyone else is doing, and like there doesn't need to be a division. Like, it's cool to like one better than the other, that's fine, but don't hate on it and be like, oh, I'll never watch the WWE, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? That's my stance on it. Like, I love all wrestling. I love all styles of wrestling, and maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just like the oddball out who's just super obsessed with this business. But I don't see a reason to hate any of the organizations. I think they're all doing something good.
Yeah, and I think it's funny is like with the past Royal Rumble with Brock winning and Ronda winning and everything like that. I called it about Brock, and I think I messaged you about it, and we said that was the
Yes, you
buzz out
did.
there.
Yes, you did. Yeah, I have to give credit where credit is due. It's funny because you called that, and then I'm sure you'll remember. Well, it's been 8 years since we've worked together in the business. That's a long time, but Mark Brown, MC Brown, called the same thing that you called. So credit where credit is due. You guys nailed the Brock Lesnar winning thing. Good job.
As soon as Roman came out, I was like, "Yo, he's dropping the title. He's dropping the title. He's going to be number 30. I'm calling it." And with this is the thing that makes me laugh, especially with nowadays, like you said, with the keyboard warriors and everybody having a voice now and an opinion about everything. With the Royal Rumble, everyone's like, "This is the worst Royal Rumble ever. Oh my god, the worst!" And I'm like, do y'all not remember the Roman Reigns against all putting his title on the line and Triple H won the thing? Do we not remember how Roman was shoved down our throats with all those rumbles? Like there's been worse rumbles than this.
Oh
Like,
yeah, absolutely. What was the Rumble that it ended up being Kane and the Big Show? They were like corporate Kane and the Big Show.
oh
Was that the same one? And then like that was such a stupid Rumble, man. Oh my gosh.
yeah, yeah, and and with Brock, like, let's think about the roster for WWE. It's like they keep letting people go, so they have to dig to the well. And Brock is a star. That's like me and you are fans of Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is a star. What,
Absolutely.
what was your feelings on the Rumble?
Honestly, I enjoyed the Rumble. I thought it was fantastically done. My only complaint with the Rumble, honestly, was it was a little predictable, I would say. Like, as soon as Brock lost, it was kind of like, okay, well, we're not going to have WrestleMania without Brock Lesnar. So it's obvious he's going to come back in, and it's pretty obvious he's going to win. Now, it's funny because my prediction originally was going to be a champion unification match. We were going to have Brock as the WWE champion versus Roman as the Universal at WrestleMania, title unification. And that still may be a very real possibility. We have Elimination Chamber coming up on February 19th. And yeah, Brock gets the belt back. We're going to have it. And apparently, backstage talks is that's a very real possibility. So we'll see. I think that's going to suck for poor Bobby Lashley. But if you think about it, who else on the roster is ready for a WrestleMania caliber main event to face Bobby, except Drew McIntyre, but he's over on the blue brand. But
I'm thinking Big E. Big E could get his WrestleMania moment. That's what I was thinking if they're going with story wise. And there's one person on the roster that I wish they just tainted for me because I'm a huge fan of this kid, Austin Theory. Oh man, that like before he joined the WWE, I was in love with everything he did. And when he came on the roster, and now he's doing those weird backstage segments with Vince and the selfies and whatnot. I'm just like, I know we have to have our comedy. I know Vince likes his comedy inside, and especially when it involves him. With I'm gonna do on the flip side. The reason I'm not really particular too much into AEW is because they keep mentioning the other brand. There in some form there's a shoot on WWE where for me it just turns me off. It's just like you don't need to mention it. Like you have a stacked roster beyond a stacked roster right now.
mm-hmm.
Like and then like how do you feel when you hear something like a shoot? Does it turn you off or?
I mean, it really depends on how the shoot is done, right? So, like, I actually agree with you 100% with, like, I wish AEW would just stop shooting on the WWE. But, like, for example, like, CM Punk's shoot. Holy crap. That was like, oh my gosh. Like, we are witnessing something really, really special here. But what was it, like 2 Wednesdays or 2 weeks ago? Cody Rhodes tried to do a shoot. And
Oh, yeah.
I mean, honestly, the freaking memes on the internet were perfect. It was like, when you get a shoot promo from wish.com or something, it was Cody Rhodes. I mean, I was like, that's exactly how it felt. Like, you just, like, I get what they're trying to do, and I get, like, the innuendos, but it's like, enough. You guys are different. You guys are established enough. And just like you said, they have a stacked roster. Honestly, my personal opinion, AEW's roster is overbloated. You have way too much great talent and not enough TV time to showcase these. You got people sitting in the back, and I mean, good for them. They're getting paid really well. Tony Khan basically has unlimited money, but it's like for people that actually want to get out there and actually want to get a name for themselves, there's not enough TV time for these guys. So quit bashing the WWE, focus on yourself, better yourself, and the competition will come. I mean, they're already seeing ratings that are, I want to say they actually beat out Raw like last month or something. So the ratings are coming. They just need to focus on themselves.
Yeah, and then Tony needs to shut up. Like
Mhm.
Tony.
Oh, totally agreed. Absolutely. Tony needs to just shut his mouth, focus on his own product, get off the Twitter. I mean, and just, focus on his product for sure.
Yeah, because I listen to Busted Open Radio, and then when they do Tony Fridays or it's Tony time or something like that, I usually stop because I'm like, man, bro, I don't want to hear from you, man. This is just this. Even if Vince was doing this, I would do the same thing. Vince, I don't want to hear you shooting on anybody. Like, Vince knows. And what's funny is like, there's a lot of people who took the Shane McMahon. Like, a lot of people who text me are like, "Oh my God, Shane McMahon was like, oh," I'm like, well, he's kind of raised. Business is business. He'll be fine. And if he goes to AEW, it's business. Like that's what it comes down to. Like a lot of people this is what the thing that makes me sad about wrestling today. Like there's no more. There's no kayfabe. There's no illusion to it. There's no mystery to it. It's all on the internet, man. Like, it's just like the days when I watched Hogan versus Ultimate Warrior, and there was dirt sheets, sure, but seeing that and the magic and and like I'm just a big Hogan guy, and now that they're all on these platforms and they're talking and stuff like that, and especially when Hogan puts his foot in the mouth all the time, and I'm just like, Hogan, stop, Hogan, I love you, brother, but you just need to stop putting your foot in your mouth. Like, stay off the Twitter, stay off the comments, just stay off that kind of thing. Because when celebrities do it too, I'm just like, just stop. Just keep the illusion there. Like, keep the illusion, keep the magic there.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. I've actually had this conversation several times with a lot of the new trainees, and a lot of the other guys. Like, in my opinion, like, less is more in professional wrestling. Like, we all know professional wrestling is a work, but we all still want to believe that it's real. And when you open the doors and you see everything, just like you said with the Hogan scandal, and you see like all the backstage, like Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, just like right after their match at Royal Rumble, posted a TikTok of them in a car singing together. It's like, come on, guys. It's like, that's like back in the day, like that was extremely frowned upon when kayfabe was a thing. Like when they, like the baby faces and the heels couldn't even go to the same nightclub or the same bar afterwards. Like you could not be associated with each other because it was, kayfabe was real. And I'm with you. I miss kayfabe so much. In fact, just speaking about that, my last show at Tucson when I wrestled Capane, after the show, there were still fans in the audience, and I was talking with some fans, and I was trying to sell T-shirts and sell my merchandise, and I see Capane start walking up, and I immediately, in the middle of talking with the fan, stood up and flipped him off because I'm trying to, and he's flipping me off back too, because we're trying to keep kayfabe. I mean, you know what I mean? But like I said, the business is way too exposed. Less is more when it comes to pro wrestling. That's my.
It's like when Ric Flair got in the plane crash and got sent to the hospital. Was it Chief Strong Armbar? Like he had the high because they had a big rivalry back then, but he had to like sneak into the hospital to go see his friend, but made sure no one saw him because
right.
they wanted to keep the kayfabe alive. Like it, Rick was actually hurt from that plane crash, so they tried their best to hide it.
Yep, exactly.
And it's just like, as much as I love wrestling podcasts, like when you say less is more, it's just like when I hear breakdowns from Eric and all this and that, like I like the history, but I'm like, I still want to be surprised. It's like going to a movie and you already know the ending.
Exactly. Yeah, and like so much stuff gets leaked now, and like with the WWE specifically, I mean, what do they have? They have a team of like 115 writers or something. Like somebody's gonna leak something. I'm sorry. When you have that much people and that many hands on the product, someone's gonna leak something. It just happens, and it's unfortunate. It really is.
And I know you're back in the ring. Well, let's hear about that. Let's hear about that journey to get back in the ring. And I know I've seen your videos. You sent me some, and you look like you're just having the time of your life.
Yeah, let's talk about SCW. That's Sonoran Championship Wrestling. This is run by Jay Garland, who is a 20-plus year pro in the business. Jay Garland has wrestled the Big Show on SmackDown. He has a huge name, and he is bringing back Sonoran Championship Wrestling. And to be fully honest, I took 3 years off from the business, and I honestly thought that my career was over. And then last year, around September, I get a phone call from Jay, a good friend of mine that I haven't heard from in years. And he says, "Hey, I'm rebooting SCW. I need talent." I said, "Brother, I'm so out of shape, but if you need me, I'm there for you, man." And to be honest, like I've been wanting to get back in the business for a long time. And I did start training. I started hitting the gym hard and trying to get my cardio back up. Because I've been wanting to get back into it. And so getting that phone call from Jay to come work for SCW was just godsend. And I don't know what happened. It was like the moment I told people I'm back, I'm working again, my DMs blew up. Like it's been absolutely insane. So, bookings with different promotions, the whole 9 yards. It has just been absolutely like it's just blown up like crazy. Now I'm doing something a little different this time because I was trained pretty old school, and usually I work as a heel gimmick. And so a lot of people like heels shouldn't sell business or shouldn't sell merchandise is what a lot of them say. Like that's kind of an old school mindset. And so I never sold merchandise, but now I got shirts, I got pictures, I got all kinds of stuff. So now I'm selling merchandise, and I'm trying to have a lot of fun with my career. I'm at an age where the WWE, yeah, they might call me. I'm not saying no, it's not a possibility. But if the WWE did call me, I would really have to have like a coming to Jesus talk and really think about like if I wanted to accept that, because the WWE schedule is insane. It is extremely difficult and very few people can hold up to it. Truth be told, right now at this point in time, I love working for SCW. If somebody like Impact Wrestling or my dream of all time, New Japan Pro Wrestling, ever called me, I would jump on that in a second, no questions asked. But yeah, I'm loving what I'm doing with SCW. We have a great product. The locker room is so different. It's a team atmosphere, and I've never been a part of anything like that. Most of the time, when you go to a pro wrestling, if you're a worker, you go backstage, and a lot of the guys are they're kind of most of the time they're in it for themselves. You know, they don't have the bigger picture of what's best for the promotion, and that's not the case with FPW. Everybody wants SCW to succeed. It's so unique, it's so much fun. We have such a positive locker room, and it really just pushes and drives everybody. So that's where I'm at with my career. I'm perfectly happy to continue working for SCW and any other promotions that are affiliated with SCW. So we did the Native Ways Entertainment in Tucson. That's where I wrestled Capane. We're working on a partnership with them, and things like that. So any promotions that want to work or collaborate with SCW, I'm willing to work. But SCW is definitely my priority at this point.
When you say the locker room, it brought up a great story in my head. I remember when we finally got some real training with Andy up in Williams, and me and Daniel, aka Mercer.
The Mercer, yep.
Yeah. I remember we were at the Williams High School for a show, and I remember we walked in the back, and like me and him were just like, everything we know about the business and everything like that. Like we put our gear down, we're like, we got to go shake everybody's hand. Yeah, we got to go shake everybody's hand. That's the rule. That's the rule of the locker room. Remember? That's what everything we've told. And so we went up. Hi. It was a matter of respect, and I remember at the end of the show, Andy handed me a 20 and him a 20, and we're like, whoa, it was like it was the weirdest, like craziest, like moment of being like,
Yeah. Dude, you're in the business. If you got paid, you're in the business. I mean, that's that. So that's freaking awesome, man. Yeah.
But I did mess up that night. At the end of it, I I messed up because I was about to leave, and all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, you're supposed to help take down the ring," and I was like, "Oh, well, I was about to go," and then there was a big talk, and then I was like, "Oh." I was smarting up to I was smarting up to it. And I was like, oh, okay. And I told my ride, I was like, yeah, I got to do this. I got to earn my keeps.
Yep. Paying your dues. That's the business, brother. I drove all the way from Santa Clarita down to Burbank just to set up a freaking ring and didn't even get booked. Like I've been there. I've done that. Paying your dues. Honestly, that we can have an entire podcast about paying your dues on this business. Like there's so many different interpretations, but you did the right thing. So kudos to you. And I guess, probably your trainer should have probably filled you in on paying your dues. But yes, setting up and tearing down the ring is a very important part when you're starting in the business. And truth be told, my personal opinion on paying dues is you don't ever stop paying dues. Obviously things happen. You have kids, you have family, you have jobs. If you have to leave early, make sure that you spoke with the promoter. Make sure you made arrangements with them first so that they know. But yeah, if you can help, you should help. Always. More hands, easier work. Everyone gets done. Always help for any pro wrestlers listening to this right now. You never stop paying dues.
Never stop paying dues, and the more you know. You're right here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this part right here, I like to open the floor for all your plugs. You can plug whatever you need to. Plug upcoming shows. The floor is yours.
All righty. So SCW Before the Storm, February 19th in beautiful Sun Studios, Arizona, in Tempe. that's going to be my next show. The Ramrock is going to be tagging up with Ryan Riven, and I'm not quite sure who we're wrestling, but whoever's getting in the ring with us, they're in for a beatdown. Please, everybody, follow me on all the social medias: the Ramrock, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I now just started getting into the the TikTok. So now I got a TikTok. So follow me on all forms of social media. Buy a shirt, buy merchandise. You can see all the links on all my social media. Yeah, that's what I got. Plug in the Ramrock.
You heard it here, the Ramrock. And I got to tell you, I'm so glad we finally got to do this. I definitely want to do more, but I got to tell you, I really love the Ramrock gimmick very, very much. Like, I feel like it's something that's just monstrous to like me as a character, But you're right.
Wait,
What?
Did you call me a gimmick? Ramrock isn't a gimmick.
Well, I was just saying
the Ramrock. Are you kidding me?
That's not what I meant. I meant the
You know what? You want to disrespect me like that? I don't need this.
Welcome to the wicked shit.